Hey Ish,
What?
do you think if a train derails in the middle of the night in Ohio, anyone would hear it?
If they do, that would be pretty fucking mint.
It would, wouldn't it be?
Welcome back to But Is It a Good Movie, where we go through my movie collection one by one every week to find out if that week's choice is a good movie and should be kept in the collection, or if it's a bad one and we should throw that bad boy out. I'm your host Ish, and with me is my co-host Nick.
That's me.
This week we're gonna go over the 2011 film Super 8 by J.J. Abrams. All right, Nick. So you've seen this movie once before, right?
Yeah, I don't know when I've seen it, but I faintly remember seeing it.
Yeah, you said you were pretty sick when you first saw this.
Yeah, I think I got really sick, pneumonia in college. I think that's when I watched it.
That's not fun.
No. So to me, I associate the movie with such a bad time that I was like, it's not gonna be a good movie. But after viewing it again, definitely have a changed opinion on it because I now remember the whole movie.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. So, you grew up on the East Coast. Did you have a childhood like this where you were just going with your friends on bikes on adventures?
Uh, not in the way that these guys did it. I did have that stage where we were like, let's make a movie though. But no, I didn't live very close to my friends and stuff like that. Maybe walking distance was over 20 minutes to get to one of my friends.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say I had a similar experience. I grew up on the West Coast. So, same, all my friends were pretty far away from each other, so we didn't really venture out on our bikes and have adventures. But this film starts in 1979 in Ohio.
Yes, in the fictional town of Lillian.
Yeah, Lillian, Ohio. And right off the bat, when the movie starts, we just get a super depressing scene of someone's mother just died at work, right?
Yeah, they go up and they're taking down how many days they were accident free, and they're putting up just one now, and you're like, oh fuck, what just happened?
Yeah, and turns out that the main character's mom passed.
Yeah, passed in a work accident, which is I don't know. I think it's a rare thing you see in movies. Usually you get to meet the mother or the father or whatever guardian, and then they pass.
Yeah.
The audience gets to see a little bit of a connection. But no, it jumps straight into just the after Mufasa dies, basically.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. Even though we didn't get to meet the mom at all, there was still somewhat of a feeling, a connection that you had with her just because you saw how sad this kid was, and
Yeah.
everyone was pretty depressed about it, except for the kids because they were talking about how awesome this turkey roll was.
Yeah, no, I think definitely the friends in the group played real kids. When you're that old, you don't understand death. Even if you never had an experience of someone very close to you dying, when you go to a funeral for someone, it is weird. You don't get it when you're
Yeah.
10, 11, especially if all you can think about is summer vacation, the movie you're making, or a turkey roll.
Yeah, yeah, because we get to meet, I think, all the kids in the first few minutes of this movie.
Yeah.
Which is
Our main character, we don't really hear him speak for a hot minute, but
No, he's
but
pretty depressed on the swing.
but
That's Joe Lamb.
Joe Lamb, and then his friends, he has Charles, which is the one that's making the movie. He's the director. Carrie.
Carry the explosives.
Yeah, he's the ADHD ridden kid.
Yeah.
And then you have, oh my god, what's the nerdy kid with the shaggy hair?
So there's the one with the glasses is Martin,
Yeah.
and then the other one is Preston.
Okay, Preston.
Yeah, and in this scene we also get to meet another. I don't want to say main character, but he's kind of a side character, which is Louis Daniard.
Oh yeah, that's the other father that we
Yeah,
see.
that's Alex's dad. He goes to the house, I guess, to pay his respects.
Yeah, and then he gets promptly arrested by Joe's dad, which is the deputy.
Yeah, which is also the husband of the lady who just died. And we don't get we don't know why the dad's reacting like this yet.
Yeah.
I guess later on it's a little bit more justifiable because he was pretty upset at not even what this guy Louis did, but what his actions caused.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those like getting blamed for something that was kind of out of your control, but you had a hand in kind of making just like the start of it happen.
Yeah, like if this guy was just like a better person, the wife wouldn't have died, but not because he deliberately did something that caused her death.
Yeah. Yeah, because he drinks the night before he's supposed to go into work, and Joe's mom takes his shift, and that is what leads to her untimely death.
Yeah, which I don't think we find that out until way later.
Near the end, I'd say. So, yeah, like this movie holds out a lot on you to kind of like, not like feed you little bits, because it kind of just kind of like, here's a start of something, and then we're not going to finish and we're going to bring back later.
Yeah. Yeah, because Joe, the main kid, he's always holding onto this little locket that was his mom's, right?
Yeah,
so that's the thing that keeps popping back up.
And we don't even get to see what's in there until the end.
Yeah, like the end shot is when you
like,
finally see what's in there.
Yeah, like I'm sure the audience will like figure it out. You know, like if you've ever seen a locket before, you know there's a picture in there. Yeah. But we actually don't get to see it forever. We actually don't even get to see what Joe's mom looks like.
No,
until halfway. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, the premise of this movie is these 6 friends are trying to make a movie in support of one of their friends, Charles, because he wants to enter this film festival.
Yeah, the Super 8 Film Festival.
Yeah.
Which now knowing is a type of film.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like, because like when you type Super 8, it's like a motel brand comes up.
Oh, yeah.
So
right.
like kind of like not knowing it was film, I was kind of like, is Super 8 like sponsoring this film festival? And then it was like, oh, it's the film.
So I think the name Super 8, right, it's kind of like a double entendre, which was when they were first making the film, there was going to be 8 kids, which are the 6 main kids, which is Charles, Preston, Carrie, Joe, Martin, Alice, and then Charles' sister, Jen, and then the other guy, Donnie.
Okay.
The pothead.
Oh,
so they were going to be the Super 8.
Oh, okay.
And then also Super 8 is the name of the type of film.
Oh, shit. Okay.
But I think after, like, when they were working through and they realized that Jen and, like, Donnie really aren't part of the movie, they still kept the name.
Okay.
Because it's still related to the type of film.
Gotcha.
But that was, like, the original plan. It was supposed to have, like, double meaning.
Okay. So, like, they, like, were pushing for this 8, like, main cast, and then they were like, ooh, wait.
There was only, like, 6 of them, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, the sister is not in the movie much at all. And when she is in it, she just basically is yelling at her parents.
Yeah. Calling her mom racist.
Yeah. Or, like, just complaining that she can't wear short shorts in the in the 80s.
So throughout the movie, I would say like the movie starts when they go to the train station.
Yeah, so they're making this like zombie movie called The Case, which we don't know like that's what they're gonna call it till later on. But like throughout the movie, they're filming scenes of when this event happens, and they go to the rail yard.
Yeah. So I guess so throughout the beginning of the movie, we only know that there's the 5 kids.
Yes.
And then Charles brings up that he invited this girl Alice during like quiet reading time to star in the movie because he wants to add a little bit more complexity to his film. So he's introducing like the wife character.
Yeah, and like she's gonna love the husband, and you're gonna be like, oh, but I don't want them to die now because like there's love, which is honestly for like a 10-year-old, like that is kind of complex actually.
Yeah,
you know, because like here, like the first thing they film is like a zombie kill, you know, and they're like, that was so cool, and then he's like, no, you don't get it. We need more complexity.
It's like we have a scene, but we don't have a movie that goes with this. So he kind of springs this up on everyone. Yes. And I guess we find out the reason Charles brings this up is because he has like a crush on Alice, so he wants to get to know her better through making the movie.
Yeah, and then when Charles brings up that Alice is coming, then Joe's like, "Oh my God, Alice!" And then like he's like almost daydreaming about her right there. So we can tell that like this before we even see her, that the kids think that she's pretty, or at least want to talk to her. They're like swooning over her.
Yeah, she's kind of like a cool kid, right? Because they agree to meet up at midnight to go to the train station.
And she's driving.
Yeah.
Which made me think that she was going to be like a way older character.
Yeah, no. I think in the movie she's supposed to be like 12.
I don't know. These kids look like they must be like 14. Like 12 is a stretch.
They're in middle school.
I know. But like just like because she drove a car, you know?
Yeah.
Granted, I'm a short guy and I was pretty short when I was 12. So maybe that's why I'm thinking this way. But they definitely seemed like they were like a little bit older than that.
Yeah, no, but she rolls up in her dad's car to pick them all up, and she kind of freaks out, right?
Yeah, because
she's like Joe's deputy's kid.
Yeah. And so then like, you know, he's like, "I won't be a narc, I promise." Mm-hmm. And then they go to the train station anyway. And every time they're in a car in this movie, every character is talking.
Oh, constantly.
And it's so aggravating because, like, I know what that's like. You're driving and everyone's talking. Like, shut up!
Yeah.
Like, I can't hear anything.
Yeah, it is. Like, when they're going there, they're all talking because they're all excited.
Yeah.
And then when they're leaving, it's even more chaotic.
Yeah. I do like when they were going to the train station, all of them are, like, kind of talking to Alice. And then, like, Joe's in the back, like, trying to feed her a Twizzler. And then, like, you could tell she's kind of, like, stressed out about this.
Yeah, she accepts it very aggressively.
Yeah.
But they get to the train station, and Martin is kind of freaking out over his lines.
Oh, yeah. Like, yeah, he definitely is, like, he's trying to remember all these lines. And he's, like, he's the one that's trying to give it 110%.
Yeah, the main character of the case.
Well, everyone else is kind of winging it looks like.
Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, man, I hope there's no new lines. I'm trying to, I barely remember these." And then we see Charles kind of scribbling some stuff down really fast. And he's like, "Here, I got you some new lines." And he's like, "No, I just remember these."
He's freaking out. He's like, "I can't remember more." So Charles is the director. Mm-hmm. I believe Carrie is lights and camera.
Lights and camera, yeah.
Joe is makeup effects and audio.
Yes.
And then I don't know what the others do. They're like more like they could be extras in the back.
Yeah, I think Preston's character, which is the weakest of all the friends, because he's not in it for very much. And when he is in it, he's very much like a background character.
Yeah.
So much so that in this scene at the train station, his whole goal is to go up to the payphone
and pretend to like make it look alive. Yeah.
But while they're rehearsing the scene, they tell Alice to like read off her lines, and she just like makes the performance of a lifetime.
Yeah, like these kids have never seen like anyone act before in front of them before. So like her just reading these lines like in a way she thought was pretty good. Mm-hmm. They're all like, they stop what they're doing and they're all looking at her, mouth open. And then she goes, "Was that okay?"
Yeah.
Like very like snooty almost. And they're like, "That was perfect, Alice." And then we get the big, not even like climax, but like just like the big shot, like the money shot of the movie.
Yeah, the production value.
The production value of this is insane. Granted, this movie is in 2011 and it looks so good.
It looks phenomenal.
So fucking good. And then the train's coming. Mm-hmm. Charles looks over. He goes, "Oh my, production value."
Yeah.
He's like, "We gotta set up. We gotta go now."
He's like, you got film in the camera, right?" And Carrie's like, I never film with the camera.
Yes, all the kids are scrambling because now, like, the scene that they were just rehearsing, now they have to do it because the train's coming. It's gonna add so much more effect and all this shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they like, you see them just all kind of run around like with chickens with their heads on, trying to figure out how to like set this all up as fast as they can. So they're shoving the film in the camera, changing out into their outfits super fast.
Yeah.
And then they're trying to get up the mic set up and everything. And they're like, "All right, go." And they have to yell their lines louder because the train's approaching as fast as it can, right?
Yeah. So I thought it was pretty interesting. So the scene they're filming is the detective and his wife, and the detective is trying to get her to go
To Michigan.
to Michigan, which at first I didn't know that this was taking place in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
I thought maybe they were like right near Michigan, so like that's why they came up with like Michigan. But I guess I just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's just like a throwaway line. Because I think the wife's like, oh, go with me to Michigan. It's like really nice this time of year.
Yeah, because I think it's funny that this is like their first real scene they're shooting, and it's something that like they might have to do later on in this movie. They might have to leave town.
Yeah.
We'll get to that though. But like I thought that was pretty like not like maybe it was kind of like a foreshadow. So
Yeah.
so the train's passing, the kids are screaming their lines, and then all of a sudden Joe looks over and there's a truck coming down the road.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it gets on the railroad tracks and it beelines right into the train. And Joe's like, holy shit, guys, look out. And then like all the kids are like, what are you talking about? And then they look over and the train fucking just like goes crazy.
Yeah, it completely derails. Shit's flying everywhere. All the different carts are crashing into everyone. There's explosions everywhere. It's almost like a Michael Bay movie.
Yeah, the kids are running in the madness of it all. Somehow don't get hit by anything that is happening. One thing, the scene is not long. Like the train crashing, it's like maybe like a little over a minute, maybe close to 2 minutes, but it feels so long because you see like each individual cart like buckling on itself and like tipping, and then like just I don't know. It was really cool. Yeah, and it is loud too.
It's so loud. This movie went from 0 to 100
real quick.
And if you didn't know anything about this movie and you just like were watching this for the first time, you're like, oh, this is kind of cute. It's like it's like kids trying to make a story, and then this just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, it is fucking wild. Yeah, because the movie gives off like Stranger Things vibes before Stranger Things even came out.
Yeah.
And then like, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, Super 8 walks so Stranger Things could run.
I know, because like when you Google this movie, it doesn't really have like a very strong online presence.
No.
But everyone gave it like around like a 7 to an 8, like a low 8, but like mid 7 territory.
Yeah, you know, when this movie came out, I think it did pretty well.
Yeah.
It made enough where it's considered like a good movie, right? Like it made its money back and then some. But I don't think it was ever considered a major hit.
Yeah, I can see that. This is definitely like a movie that kind of like, I hate saying this, like it came out before its time.
Yeah.
But if it came out after Stranger Things, everyone would be like, Super 8 copied Stranger Things.
Yeah, because this was J.J. Abrams' first like movie that wasn't part of anything else. Like its first original movie.
Yeah.
That he's ever made. And I think before this, he did like Lost and like some Cloverfield stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. But, so this is his like first like, this is his.
Yeah. And it's amazing for like his first like original idea, right?
It's really good. Because like when you look at like the synopsis and stuff like that, it makes you think that it's gonna be more about what's on this train.
Yeah.
But it's actually more about these like kids and stuff, which was super cool. It gives like the Stand By Me, Stranger Things vibe, but done in a way that I like a little bit more.
Yeah, I've heard it compared if like Goonies met E.T., which I could kind of see, but I would say this is more like if Goonies met Cloverfield.
Yeah, because E.T. is like, he's a friendly alien.
Yeah.
This alien thing is not very friendly.
No, he's terrifying.
Yeah, he is a fucking monster.
Yeah, so the train derails and the kids are kind of all grouping up again after all of this chaos, right? And they go up to the truck because they see a body in there and they're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, that's Mr. Woodward, the science teacher.
Yeah.
And like the way the kids talk to each other is so funny because this is how like me and my friends used to talk to each other. Like basically like try to make fun of each other like
Yeah.
at every possible moment. And I think the one kid's like, oh, he's like a biology teacher, like biology honors.
Yeah.
And then like the one kid's like, I'm not in that class. And then like the other one's like, we know.
Yeah.
And it's like, and like the kids do this throughout the whole movie where it catches you off guard a little bit because there's like some serious shit going on.
Yeah.
And the kids are still just throwing quips out like crazy. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that is how my friends and I, so like I got a little like nostalgic over that.
Yeah, and they see Mr. Woodward kind of hunched over and he has like this piece of paper like gripped in his hands, right?
Yeah. So wherever this train was going, it was going from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast.
Yeah, I think so.
Or it was coming to, or whichever way, it was going across the whole country.
Yeah.
And Mr. Woodward is stopping the train for what we don't know is an unknown reason.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he like gets up, he has like a gun in his hand.
Yeah.
And he's like, don't talk about this if you don't want like you or your parents like to die. And then he like tells them to like go because like the police or the army is showing up and he has like a revolver and the kids are like, holy fuck, like this is real. So like seeing like a bunch of like 12-year-olds, like here they are at this like disaster site. And then they see this guy who they thought was dead now putting a gun at them, telling them to go. Like they're all fucking freaking out.
Yeah, it's super intense because they just fucking book it as fast as they can. And Alice is like, get in the car, we gotta go. But instead of the kids going, they grab all their shit first.
I know, yeah, like they definitely have like their priorities set. Like, we gotta get the camera and
all their like makeup stuff and all the production stuff. And they end up just getting away, which is kind of weird that the Army or Air Force didn't chase after them.
Yeah, it is weird that they're all on foot.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, but I don't know.
Because it's like, where were they? Were they on the train?
I don't think so. Because like if they were on the train, they surely would have either died or... Because none of those looked like they were passenger cabins. They all looked like shipping ones, like all like the big like steel.
Yeah, but we didn't see them.
Yeah, I feel like they might have been driving with the train. I'm not sure. Because they do get there pretty quick.
They're there really fast.
Yeah, I feel like because of how important this cargo was to them, I feel like they were going to be nearby it at all times to make sure nothing happened.
Yeah. And then while the kids are driving away, this is where Alice is kind of freaking out more because she's driving.
Yeah, so she's driving. They're all freaking out because they're like, oh my god, it was a real gun. And like the army's here and all this shit.
It's like, I've never had someone point a gun at me before.
So right before they leave, Joe grabs that cube.
Yeah.
Which is like a part of the movie where I was like kind of bummed out by. Because he grabs this cube and it's not used for like anything with the main characters at all. Like I thought this was like a plot element. Like,
no.
Because like basically it's like it's part of the alien ship, which is like a really cool like thing you find out later. And I thought like because Joe had it, he was gonna give it to the alien and then like or something like that. But no, it just fucking like shoots through his wall later on and it kind of doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, it's weird, right? It kind of goes somewhere. I think if you're paying attention, they don't acknowledge it in the movie, but it crashes into the water tower.
Yeah.
Which is where the ship is.
Yeah.
Like the alien's hiding underneath the water tower.
Yeah, so
I guess they tell you where he is halfway through the movie. So if on a rewatch, you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think it's just kind of like one of those like I felt like there was gonna be a big like a stronger like I don't know like this was gonna be really important.
Yeah.
And then here it's like it is important, but it's just like no one needs to like interact with this item. Like the item is just gonna do its thing.
Yeah.
And I thought that was kind of like I was like, oh, that was a letdown.
You know what that reminded me of? Have you seen Big Hero 6?
Yeah.
You know in Big Hero 6 where that kid, I think it's a kid, is he's like building these like little things that all connect into each other, and he controls it with this headband. And they're like these little magnet things. And depending on what the headband wearer wears, he can make it turn to anything he wants.
Oh, okay.
That's what this reminded me of, because those little cubes could shapeshift into anything the alien wants it to be.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought when I saw them. I was like, oh, that's kind of like in Big Hero 6.
Yeah, it was pretty cool when you get to see like the footage of like all the cubes just like morph into something, and then they just like fall apart, and they're like almost like they just like create this big pile of shit basically.
Yeah, so the kids, after freaking out, they all decide we can't tell anyone what just went down because all our parents will die if we do.
Yeah.
So the next day, I think they all regroup because they want to keep filming the movie, right?
But the camera's broken.
Yeah, the camera is broken.
Yeah, camera breaks because in like the crash, they drop the camera and it falls and it cracks.
Yeah, the focus ring fell off.
Yeah, which we learn during when Alice is driving them home. So like all the kids are freaking out, and Charles in the back going, "My camera's like completely busted." He goes, "And the focus ring came off." Like he's like, and then she's like, "We can't tell anybody about this." And then Joe's like her like hype man, but like kind of like the reinforcer. He turns around, he's real like stern with his friends, like, "We're not gonna say anything, right, guys?" And they're like, "Right."
Yeah. So next day, we see Charles. No, not Charles. Joe, right? He goes over to Charles's house in the morning.
Yeah.
To kind of regroup. And I was watching some of the deleted scenes, and there's a scene that was supposed to take place right before this where he goes home and he gets like a typewriter, Joe does, and he's writing up more scenes and lines for Alice.
Oh.
And he's the one that introduces the idea of having Alice turn into a zombie.
Oh, okay.
Which in the movie kind of comes out of nowhere, where it's like, oh, she's a zombie now, and she's gonna like try to kill the husband. But it's because he started to have feelings for her on the set.
Oh, yeah, because like on their first little set introduction, he's like doing her makeup, and like they kind of like just like quickly have like a little chat, and you could tell there's something going on right there.
Yeah, and in that deleted scene, which is very similar to the scene that we got, he tells Charles, "Hey, I wrote some scenes for Alice's character," and Charles is like, "What? But you hate writing." He's like, "And you weren't even along. You didn't even like the idea of having the wife in the movie." And he's like, "No, I think you're right. It's gonna add more to the movie." And then he's like, "Oh, this is fucking mint."
That's sick. Yeah, I guess that does make sense because later on when they're at the camera store where we meet Donnie, he is on like the phone like calling Alice, and he is kind of like he's like the one trying to get her on board. So like that does make sense that like because like you could tell that the characters were gonna like kind of fall in love or like each other, but like he is pushing like whoa with the movie too, you know.
Yeah.
And then like she's like not about it anymore after last night. She's like, I'm done.
Yeah, because at that video store, Charles steals some cash from his mom so they could go develop the film and try to get the camera fixed, right? But I guess the camera's beyond repair, where it would just be cheaper to buy a new one.
Yeah.
And Joe's the one that's like, oh, we could use my dad's camera. Like, I know where it is. So he's already, like, on board. He's like, we got to make this movie because I got to get back with Alice.
Yes.
And Alice is like, no, I don't think I want to be in this movie anymore.
Yeah, and then, like, Joe's like, all right, I'll be at your house. And she's like, no, don't come over. And then he hangs up.
And then he's at the house.
Yeah, like, immediately beelines right to her house.
And she's just like, I told you over the phone, I don't want to be in your movie.
Yeah, and this is when Alice's dad comes home.
Yeah, which is Louis.
Yeah.
The guy from the beginning of the movie that got arrested by Joe's dad.
Yeah, he has like Tom Petty hair.
Yeah, and he's just like, what's going on here? Alice is like, oh, he was just trying to invite me to a party.
Yeah, and like at first, like he's just like, no, she's not going to your party. Like, and it seems kind of just like normal father behavior with like a boys around.
Yeah.
And he like goes in and he comes back out and he's like, I don't want you at my fucking house. Like, get out of here.
Yeah, he's like, get out of here, boy.
Which grew up on the East Coast, a lot of dads that were like had that kind of vibe to them always talked like that. Like he has like these thick sideburns. He has like longer like just greasy hair. He looks like scum kind of.
Yeah, and we find out a little bit more on like because the dads don't like each other.
Yeah.
So Alice's dad's like, don't come back here anymore. Like you stay away from my daughter. And Alice goes back into the house, and Joe's just standing there still, and I was like, get the fuck off the house, man. He's gonna shoot you or something.
I think if someone, when I was his age, if someone was like, get off my property, I'd be like, yeah, you got it.
Yeah,
immediately walk. I would not just be like standing there in shock. Like I'm like definitely like in my fight or flight. 100%. Joe is like, I'm gonna stand here, I'm gonna see what happens.
Yeah, he's kind of like shocked, and a little bit passes, and Alice kind of peeks out. She's like, all right, I'll do the movie.
Which is definitely like a rebellious moment because she's like, oh, I can't do it because my dad says so. I'm still going to do it.
Yeah. So I think that's when they're like back at, I think Joe's house or Charles's house because he's like applying makeup to Alice for that zombie scene.
Yeah, I think that's how I think that's when they are like getting ready to film that part.
And Charles is kind of giving them like weird looks.
Yeah.
And we don't know why. We just think like Charles is annoyed because he's kind of like a bossy kid.
Oh, he's so bossy.
A little annoying at times. It seems like he's the kind of kid that always gets his way no matter what because during that scene, he asked if they could blow up Joe's train, like his model train.
Yeah, because it looks like the one that crashed. So... And then, like, Joe, of course, is, like, the yes man. He just kind of goes along with it.
He's like, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, because, like, the four of them, it's, like, Charles is, like, the bossy one. Alice is the girl character. Joe is his, like, yes man. He's, like, timid. And then Carrie is, like, just, like, the wild card character with, like, he rolls his own M80s. And he's like, I want to explode that train so bad. Like...
Yeah, Carrie's definitely D-Day from Animal House.
Oh my god, he grows up into be.
And yeah, I mean, like Preston doesn't do anything.
Yeah, no, I think definitely the other two characters are kind of like very bottom of the barrel.
Yeah,
because like Martin is in the movie, and he's like this like nerdy bitchy kid. Like he definitely is like the complaining kid. But Preston, I forgot he was there half the time.
Yeah, it wasn't until. Because he doesn't go with them for a lot of it.
Yeah, and then like at the very end when they like are going back to the school and stuff, like he doesn't go.
No. So they decide to go back to the railroad tracks to get some like sick B footage, right? Like and record some scenes with the wrecked train in the background.
Yeah.
For more production value. Because
always with the production value in this, like this kid is going to be a good like director. He's like, oh my god, this is the greatest location and it's for free.
Yeah, dude, Charles is obsessed with this because he's trying to enter this film festival and he's freaking out because there's gonna be older kids there and they have money and cars and he has nothing. He just has his friends and his camera. So any chance he could get to get free production value, he's going for it, no matter what.
Oh my god, yeah.
Earlier, they're watching the train wreck on the news, and they're like, oh, fuck, this is real. Like, we didn't dream this last night.
Yeah.
And then Charles is like, we could go down there. We could film some stuff.
And, like, yeah, he's, like, always about, like, he's like, oh, man, that really sucks. But...
Yeah. So they're down at the railroad tracks, filming another zombie death scene with the same kid, Carrie.
Oh yeah, it's the same zombie over and over and over again.
Which I don't know if you got this from the zombie, but he has like those white eyes, which remind me of Evil Dead.
Oh, that is exactly like Evil Dead.
It is, right?
Yeah. Holy shit, I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, I thought that because I know they're referencing like Romero, like George Romero's work a lot, but the zombies look like the Evil Dead with like the golf balls in their eyes.
Yeah. And then like just like the weird like slightly tinged like skin color. Like it's like a little bit white.
Yeah.
But it's not like overly done.
No, which is pretty impressive considering Joe's the one doing all the makeup stuff.
Yeah.
During the train wreck, originally, right? We see something bust out of the train.
Yeah, or like we see like that like something's like rumbling in there and the door flies off.
Yeah, we don't see what happened because the kids at that point are freaking out.
Yeah.
So they kind of like run away. But in the town, there's like stuff is going like wrong left
Yeah,
and
like
right.
yeah, like electricity is like going down for people and stuff like that. Which is like leading into like one of my like honestly like my favorite scenes of the movie is when they like hold like the town hall meeting.
Yeah.
Because it reminds me of Jaws when they do their town board meeting and everyone's like fucking freaking out. But like in Jaws, it was almost one of those like, why is everyone freaking out over a shark? Because like it only has to do with the land, no, with the water. In this, it's like everyone's shit's gone missing.
Yeah.
Everyone's dogs are gone.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like we get like kind of like a mixed bag of that because the deputy goes down to the rail yard in the daytime to like investigate what happened, and like the like the army, like the armed forces are just like, no, don't worry about it. This doesn't concern you. We're gonna clean it up real quick and we'll be out of here in no time. And he's taking note that they're like picking up all these white cubes and they're taking tire molds and all this shit, and he's like, something's going on here.
Yeah, that's a great point that you brought up because this movie is like a love letter to Spielberg.
Oh, 100%.
And in that scene in particular, the like town hall meeting scene, Deputy Lamb is almost like Chief Brody.
Yeah, because he's like very passionate about this. Like he's like, no, we're gonna get to the bottom of this. While his like superior, like the sheriff, is just like kind of like, it happens.
Yeah, and there's like a guy who's like, yeah, I'm getting weird signals on my ham radio, and he's like, you see me in private.
Did you pick up that when he said that? Like, because like right before that, it was like the woman was talking about like 12 of her microwaves are gone from her inventory, and then someone else was like, I hear that there's no power in the town next to us. Like, are we gonna be without power for long too? And then when he gets up to talk about his radio thing, everyone goes, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like, boo.
Yeah, like, fuck this guy.
But they're like, wait, I'm gonna need a private word with you. And then that's when they like are figuring out that like the army is using like distortion. And they're like, we're gonna get to the bottom of this.
Yeah, because everyone's convinced it's like Soviets or something. And the reason why they're all angry at the deputy is because they don't really respect him, because they want the sheriff, right?
But the sheriff is nowhere to be found.
No, he's done so.
Because the scene that we get before is the sheriff is at a gas station. He's at a Kelvin gas station, which pops up a ton in J.J. Abrams' work. I think that gas station brand pops up in Lost, and it pops up in like Cloverfield and shit. Which I thought was pretty cool.
Want to know why?
Isn't it like one of the writers or like it's like named after somebody, right?
Yeah, it's one of JJ's like favorite Easter eggs he likes to add, because he's honoring his grandfather, Henry Kelvin. And so it pops up in, I think, every one of his projects.
That's sick.
Like in Cloverfield Paradox, like one of the ships has like Kelvin on it.
Yeah. I believe it's in like all the Cloverfields they have. And then in this movie, I didn't pick this up until I looked at it today. The gas station, there's slusho machines.
Yeah, that's also in Cloverfield.
Yeah, which I thought was pretty cool. And then but yeah, so the sheriff is at this gas station. And I don't know if there's like an Easter egg with the gas station attendant, but oh my god, what song is he listening to? Because he has like an 8-track player, and like the sheriff makes like a comment. He's like, oh, this is a slippery slope for you kids getting like consumed by like your little doodads and shit.
Yeah, he's like teenagers walking around with their own stereo. No thanks.
Yeah. So then the sheriff goes out to get gas, And he's like enjoying his Snickers and he's pumping his like gas. And I don't know if I caught the gas price, but I believe it was like under $2. I think it was like $1 or something.
Yeah, because like when the gas is going up, it's like such a small number.
Yeah. So like now it's like we're dealing with like over $4 on gas. And then here I just see this and I'm like, I wish.
So the song that the gas station attendant is listening to is Heart of Glass by Blondie.
Yeah, that's it. And like he's like fucking jamming to it.
Oh, he's feeling himself. He's just fucking vibing.
And he's dancing. He has his eyes closed. He has like his fingers on his like ears. He's like, yes.
Yeah, because like the sheriff comes in. He doesn't notice. He's just wilding out, vibing over there. And the sheriff throws like a candy bar at him.
Yeah.
So when like the sheriff leaves, he's just like, oh, all right. He just puts his headphones back up, starts vibing. Doesn't even notice when like the alien starts like wrecking the guy's car. It's not until like the lights start flickering.
And then he like turns around and he notices like the sheriff's car is like fucking smashed.
Yeah, gas is leaking everywhere.
Yeah. And then because right before the sheriff gets got, there's a bunch of dogs leave, the power's flickering, and but the sheriff's body is nowhere to be found. Same with the gas station attendant. They're just like gone. And so that's why the deputy is the only one left, basically.
Yeah.
Not the only one left, but he's in charge kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
something I thought was pretty interesting is like they're going over all these like weird things missing from the town, and the engines are missing from cars.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was funny because when you see this monster interact with anything, he's like crushing it in his hands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And here he like delicately opened the hood of the car, pulled it out, and like did it to all these cars. Like they're not like smashed in. Like he like was like I can't get noticed for these.
Yeah, he just takes all the engines. He's taking down power lines. Taking that lady's microwaves.
All 12 of them.
So you kind of don't know what's going on because it seems like everything that's electronic based is missing or something's going wrong with everything, right? So that's like a mystery in itself as to that's what the sheriff or the deputy is trying to figure out, I guess. All right. So the sheriff is trying to figure out this mystery after he gets the like radio. What is like coordinates?
Yeah, it's like a distorter for the radio.
Yeah, they put those into the radio, so they're like, all right, you're in charge of this. Like, let me know if something pops up.
Yeah. Right before that, the guy at that desk, he's interviewing a woman who says that someone was gone missing. And she's like, she has brown hair. Unless she, like, I saw her, she had rollers in her hair. Like, do you know what rollers are? Like, and like, he's like, yeah, I know what fucking rollers are. And like, that was like almost like a completely one-off thing until like the very end of the movie where like we like see the girl. We're like, I was like, holy fuck.
Oh, fuck, there she is.
Yeah,
There's the rollers lady. I know her.
Oh, I know.
And the sheriff, while this is going on, the kids are still filming their movie and they're taking advantage of like the army or the Air Forces. Because the Air Force is back at Woodward's house, kind of trashing the place, looking for any kind of evidence.
Yeah, like how did he know or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so then like they have Joe dress up like just like one of them.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how they got like I don't know if they just like if blue berets were just like the thing for like this branch of army to always be nearby, but they had one ready for him, like on standby.
So okay, this is another deleted scene. They go to like a military surplus store, and all the kids are fucking around, and they're like trying on gas masks and stuff. And Joe comes out of the dressing room in that military outfit, and and he's like, fuck, like I don't want to wear this, it's super uncomfortable. And Carrie's like, no, you look great, man. And he's like, nah. And Alice is like, oh, come with me. Takes him into the dressing room, and all the kids are like, oh, something's about to go down. And Charles just has like this like pissed look on his face. And Alice is like fixing his hat, his beret, and like grabs his chain that's usually in his pocket, his locket, and she puts it on him and like tucks it in and like buttons him up. She's like, all right, you're ready.
Oh, I feel like they should have kept that scene.
I know there were a lot of deleted scenes that I felt like would have added a lot more, but I get why they removed it to cut down on time, or else it would have been like over 2 hours.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there were some scenes like, I guess like they could have cut some things, like how like Joe goes back to like Charles's house after like the train crashes and stuff like that. They could have probably cut that down a little bit because like the movie is like a little bit under 2 hours.
It's like an hour and 57.
But if they added that scene, like honestly, that would have been an amazing scene to add.
Yeah. No, there's a couple things that they cut. Like there's a scene where all the kids are at a diner and they're all just kind of goofing around.
Okay. Is that what the one where they were Alice or?
That's what they're Alice and they call him Martin Smartin.
Yes, Martin. He goes, stop. I told you I hate that.
Charles is like, don't eat my fries. And Carrie's like, excuse me, can I get another fry? Order fries, my friend's fat.
But Dr. said I'm going to lean out.
In the background, we see his dad, Joe's dad, pull up.
Oh, okay.
Because he's going to the lot, like the car lot across the street to investigate all the engines missing. But in that deleted scene, instead of just cutting there, he approaches the diner and he like knocks on the window and he calls Joe outside and he's like, I don't want you with her anymore. Like you need to go home and you need to do yard work and you need to like stay away from Alice.
Okay.
Which, if they would have kept that in it, I think that would have made a lot more sense later on in the movie when he's like, I told you to stay away from her.
Yeah.
But that kind of comes out of nowhere because this is the first time he's brought it up in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, damn. That would have been pretty. Yeah, because like I feel like that isn't really like too much extra. Maybe like another like couple minutes.
Yeah.
So like I don't know. I feel like if they kept that one from like the surplus store and then like a little extra on the diner scene, could have made. Granted, it is like it stinks when you have like brand new IPs come out or like director, like how we said this is his first movie, that's like his, so it's like it is kind of hard to justify over a 2-hour runtime for something brand new that you're trying to appeal to like a bunch of people. But this like when this came out, this was definitely not like made for everybody. Nowadays this feels like this is for everybody since everyone ate Stranger Things up like crazy.
It's like you love the 80s, you love kids on bikes.
I know. I think it's so funny that like nerd culture is like the in thing. Because like when this movie came out, like I remember I saw trailers for it, but I did not know anybody who was interested in this movie.
No, when I saw trailers for this, it came out before. I'm trying to remember what movie I saw that showed this trailer, but I think it was like a superhero movie or something.
I could see it.
And when they showed the scene with the train car door busting open, I thought it was like a Hulk movie.
Oh, that would have been...
Because they don't show what pops up out of there.
Yeah. So
I was like very confused. And I went to go see it, not really expecting much. And I fucking love that movie.
It's a really good movie. I wish I saw it in theaters. I feel like this is one of those movies that like just the train crashing scene is so good. Even just on like a nice television, I couldn't imagine on the big screen. That would be sick. Yeah,
this is one of those movies where I think I did like tell friends about it. And I was like, yeah, you should go check out this movie. It's like really cool. But they're like, it's like a kid's movie. And it's like, it's not a kid's movie.
Yeah.
It has kids in it, but it's not a kid's movie.
Yeah, I feel like this is like the start of like child actors aren't that cringy on scene. Because all right, like there are certain like instances where kids are like, okay, they're really good in this scene. Like Short Round and Indiana Jones. Like that could not be played by anyone but that kid,
Yeah.
And I feel like in like this example, it's like these are some good kid actors, and you can't just cast the first kid that walks in the door, because like then you just get like annoying little kids, because like no one wants to deal with that in their movie.
No, I think they like interviewed like 5,000 kids to get these main six.
Damn. I know. I think Stranger Things did like a similar route where they just interviewed a ton, and they made them like interview in like a very like specific way.
Yeah.
Like they like read like lines from like, all these like famous movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think this movie, the reason it did such a good job with these kids is because Steven Spielberg was involved, and he's really like amazing working with child actors. Like you said, Short Round, that's like a Steven Spielberg movie.
Yeah.
So I think if it wasn't for his like collaboration with J.J. Abrams,
Things could have been different.
it would have been a lot different.
Yeah.
Because even when we were watching this movie, like we were watching it with a couple of people, and someone like was like, "Oh, this feels like a Steven Spielberg movie." And it's like, yeah, it does, because he had like a lot of involvement in it.
Yeah. Like yeah. So like whatever they felt, it's like it's definitely justified because he's there.
Yeah. So, so when they're at the military, like they're filming that military scene, right? The the deputy pulls up again and tells Joe to get in the car because they're going home.
Yeah, and he's just like he's pissed. He takes the camera and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Which Charles has one of my favorite lines in the movie. He's like, well, technically that's your camera, but that's my film in the camera. And he's like, doesn't even acknowledge the kid.
The reason like he's there is to confront the military, because over at the station they heard the radio signals talking about Operation Walking Distance.
Yes.
So he's like, "What's Operation Walking Distance?" And the colonel's like, "Fuck, I have to acknowledge this guy now."
Yeah, like before they were able to write him off as just the deputy of a small town, but now it's like, okay, we're dealing with someone who's gonna like take this like to DC or something. So they're like, meet us at the military base like tomorrow or later on or whatever.
Yeah, so he's like, "All right," and then they make an appointment to like have a meeting later on, I think that day or tomorrow. But he takes Joe back home, and he's yelling at Joe. He's like, "You're not allowed to like go see Alice anymore. You're gonna stay here. There's no more movie. There's no more anything." He's like, "Are we clear?" And Joe's like, "No, we're not clear. We haven't been clear about anything since Mom died.
Yeah.
Just because Mom died doesn't mean you know me." And I was like, "Fuck!" He just said that.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's definitely a pretty good scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then like right when like they get to like basically like they want to continue to scream at each other, and they just don't, and they like linger on that for a hot minute, and I love that in like scenes like that in movies.
Yeah, when the dad turned around after Joe said that, I thought he was gonna like hit him.
Yeah, because it is the 80s. It's not like it's gonna be too out of the ordinary.
No, man, that was like a pretty powerful scene.
It was pretty good.
Because yeah, like during the movie, they don't really have any chemistry.
No, not at all. Like his dad takes him out to dinner one night
just to tell him that he's gonna go away during summer.
Yeah, and like but they don't go to like to a restaurant. They go to like a bar that like the dad probably like frequents or whatever. And I believe it's a baseball camp.
Yeah,
or it has baseball at least.
That's where he wants to send Joe.
And then Joe's like, I thought I was gonna have like the summer to myself, and he's just like, I think it'll be good for you to like hang out with kids that don't just run around with monster makeup and shit. Like the dad thinks his friends are like not good for him.
Yeah, because he's like, this will be good for both of us. So the dad needs some time away from him.
Yeah, which is an interesting thing because they're barely on scene together, in scenes together. Because like Joe's off with his friends, his dad's working all the time, so it's like, why the fuck does he need his kid to like? You know, it doesn't seem like he checks in on him that much.
He saves him like 2 slices of pizza, and some other cop eats it.
Yeah, like there's just like, it's just like that whole like line right there. It's like, we both need this. Like makes like, I get it, but like Joe and the audience are like, that makes no sense.
Yeah,
like, what the fuck do I need to go away from you?
So I think after this is when the movie kind of kicks it in a third gear, and shit just starts happening, right? Because the deputy, Joe's dad, goes to the military base, gets arrested.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, I was supposed to meet Colonel Nellick here." And he's like, but no one wants to listen to him. He gets arrested. The
They initiate walking distance
the shade walking distance, which ends up being they're making a wildfire to evacuate everyone.
because it's gonna like hit the chemical plant or
That's the
something.
story.
That's the story they're making up. So they're evacuating the town, which is a pretty fucking scary like thing, because it's just like when it happens, it's like Charles and Joe are together,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not with their families.
No.
So they're just two 12-year-olds who just like pack a backpack and then
Mm-hmm.
they just get loaded onto this military
Yeah.
bus, and it's like I would be like I had anxiety watching it for a hot second, because like I put myself in the shoes of like I don't know where my mom is, I don't know where anybody is. I'm like, oh my god, what's
Yeah.
happening?
So they get taken to like an evacuation center, and they see Alice's dad is like all beat up on like a table, because we find out that Alice, after leaving Joe's house, because she couldn't sleep for some reason, and we have like this cute little moment
Yeah,
where like, are they gonna kiss? I don't know.
yeah,
But she ends up going back to her house. Her dad's waiting up for her, and he's just like drunk.
yeah, and he's like, do you want to tell me where you were, or do I have to tell you?
Uh-huh.
And she's like, Dad, I'm tired, I just want to go to sleep. And he's like, sit down. And she's all like, no. He's like, go, just be like your mother.
Yeah, like, leave me. And she's like, fine. So she takes off, and he just goes after her.
Yeah, so she hops on a bike, and then he follows her in a car, and he's obviously like hammered. So after like running around trying to get Alice, he crashes his car. And then Alice gets taken by the monster, the alien. And then when we are at the military base, the evacuation center, they don't believe him. They just give him pills to make him shut up or whatever.
But, like, they don't believe him, right? Like,
Yeah.
quotes.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think after the dad tells Joe what happened, he's like, they took Alice. Like, something took her. Because the kids saw in that film that finally got developed, like, 3 days later, that there's, like, a monster.
They crawled out of the train.
So they're like, fuck, they took Alice. So Joe is trying to convince all the kids to, like, help him out and go rescue his girlfriend.
And then this is when the one kid, Preston's like, fuck you guys, I'm not going back.
Yeah,
out
I was
there.
like, I'm staying here. And they convince, like, such a convoluted plan, because they convince Charles's sister, Jen, to talk to, what's his name? Bobby? Donnie. Because Donnie has a crush on her, to convince him to break out with the kids so he could drive the kids to the school, so the kids could get all this like secret information from the teacher, so they could like try to figure out what's going on, I guess.
Yeah. So I want to go back to like the cute scene that Joe and Alice had. So like Joe can't sleep, Alice can't sleep. Alice goes into his room and stuff, and this is when Alice kind of like tells Joe like it's the kind of time to be your own person a little bit. Don't let Charles blow up your train. And then like the power was out at that moment. And then when she's telling him this and everything, the power kicks back on, and you hear Joe was watching projections like home movies of his mom and stuff.
Yeah.
And then Alice gets like into it. And then this is when we find out that Alice's dad had like kind of like the starting, I guess, like the like initial start to like why Joe's mom dies at work. You know, she like breaks the news and stuff like that, which was kind of like interesting actually, because like I didn't know that.
Yeah, because she was like, he was drunk, he called off, she took her shift, and then that's how she died. And she says, I think my dad wishes it was him that died, and she's like, I wish that was him too.
Yeah, and Joe's like, no, don't say that.
Yeah, that's your dad.
Yeah, because we do also hear from Joe's dad that that Joe's mom thought that he wasn't such a bad guy, that someone just needed to be nice to him. And so like we get that kind of a little bit right here, and like ultimately that is like, you know, what kills her, which is like such a sad thing. It's like I'm never taking a shift from my like coworker again.
No, I could die.
Yeah.
And that's also one of the things when we were watching it yesterday, and the light kicks on and like the film starts playing again. I was like, that was weird. I was just like, he was just watching reels of his mom.
Yeah.
But that's also like in a deleted scene where he went up to the closet after he got the typewriter to write the scenes, and he saw the reels there.
Oh, okay.
So he's like, He takes them down and he starts like watching reels of his mom, and then that's like right before Alice shows up.
Nice. Okay.
So Alice is missing, presumably dead. I don't know.
Yeah.
And they're going to the school. They grab all this stuff and they're trying to like research and find out what this is, and then that's when we find out that the
monster is subterranean, I believe they call it.
Yeah, and like Woodward used to work for like the Air Force, and he's the one that was in charge of like this alien.
Yeah, and then like there's a recording that goes with the video, and the alien is in like captivity, obviously, and they're testing shit with like the little white cubes and shit. And then the alien grabs Woodward.
Yeah.
Doesn't do anything to him, but just grabs him and then like drops him. And then in the recording, Woodward's like, I keep wanting to say Squidward. When after he gets grabbed, he like all of like the memories that the alien had, or the feelings or emotions, just like he understands them now.
Yeah, because I guess there's a telepathic connection once like the alien touches you. Yeah, that's how you're able to understand him, because he just wants to go home.
Yeah, it is like, I guess this is like the E.T. plot a little bit. Like he just wants to go home, but it's definitely like a more angry E.T. because he is killing people.
Yeah. So
the kids get detained by the army.
Yeah, like the Air Force shows up and they're like detained, and they find out that that's like the deputy's son.
Yeah.
So they get loaded up into a bus, and they get locked in the back of the bus.
Yeah, they get like locked into like a prisoner bus, and they're driving them back into town, I'm assuming.
I don't know where they're driving to.
Yeah, but wherever they're going, they get intercepted by that fucking alien.
Yeah.
Because that alien is like, I think it's like he has like a hit list. And he wants Nellick dead, because Nellick is the one that like wants control of this alien. Yeah. You know, like he says he's mine, you know. So he definitely thinks of him as property.
Yeah, that scene was like the most horror part of the movie.
Yeah.
Because Nellick gives some other soldier like a trank gun to like take out the alien,
and he's so like, he doesn't want to go out there.
No, he's like, where do you want me to shoot him, Colonel? And you just see this arm go into the bus and grab him.
Yeah, and he's like, help me. And like the bus driver is like also pinned, and he's like trying to reach out and get him, and then like it's insane.
Yeah, like the bus flips over, kids are stuck back there, and the Colonel does like the one nice thing in the whole movie. He's trying to get them out, but he doesn't have the keys.
Yeah, which like apparently whoever had the keys is like dead outside the bus now.
Yeah.
Not sure if you got this, but because it is very Spielberg, like after the bus gets flipped over and like the monster's like trying to get at like what's inside there, I got Jurassic Park vibes.
Yeah.
With like the T-Rex trying to get in. I was like, shit, this reminds me of Jurassic Park.
It reminded me of Jurassic Park. It reminded me a little bit of that new Texas Chainsaw.
I don't want to talk about that movie. If we ever talk about that movie, I'm going to get so hammered for that.
Where he just like, because the alien just goes in the bus, he just starts killing all these guys on the bus.
Yeah, but there's like, there's like the bus driver, there's two guys, and then Nellick. Or at least one guy and a Nellick.
Yeah, I think there's like 5 or 6 people.
Yeah, and then the kids are like after it tips, they could reach like a window that's kind of cracked. And so Joe's trying to break it open, and like they're like being encouraging and also like doubting Joe at the same time. They're like, you can do it. pussy. It's so weird.
Mixed signals.
like Joe's like, I can, but can I?
He finally gets out, and while Charles is getting out of the bus, he kicks Carrie in the face.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you can tell, like Charles is like looking out for number one.
Yeah.
And that's it. So the alien kills Nellick in a pretty like quick and not brutal, but very quick way. He like bites his head off.
Yeah, that's like the only part where we see like blood actually.
Yeah, and like more than just like a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So the alien flees. He's like, I don't care about those kids.
Yeah.
So Donnie from the school shows up because he smoked and he was like really high and he like hid from the cops.
And he's the one that uses this PG-13's only F-bomb.
Yeah. Doesn't he go, holy fuck, or whatever?
He's like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah. So like he shows up. He goes, oh, thank God you guys aren't dead. And then like they're like, all right, you gotta take us back into town. He goes, I'm way too high. And Joe's like, I could drive. And it cuts to immediately the car like swerving in the road.
Yeah, because I think the tank. Yeah, because they go back into town to go rescue Alice, and all the tanks and guns or missiles are like misfiring.
Yeah.
And it's fucking chaotic out there. And they're trying to wake up Donnie. And they're like, Donnie, wake up. And he's just not responding. He's like, he's too fucking high, man. He's like, oh, drugs are so bad.
Yeah. So the kids are in like a war zone now. And they like leave him in his car. The tanks, all these guns are just like firing like crazy because like the alien kind of like disrupts technology. So I guess he's disrupting all this shit. That was the part of the movie I was kind of like, all right, they're just like doing random shit now.
Yeah, the third act is just so chaotic. Everything's happening all at once and while this is happening, there's like another subplot of the dad, the deputy, escapes his imprisonment, beats up a soldier, takes his uniform, goes back to the shelter, busts out the other dad, and then they're like
go find their kids.
Yeah, so now it's like a buddy cop movie or trying to find the kids.
But like once like he gets like the dad out of the evacuation center and they go back into town, like that's like the last part we see of them till the ending.
Yeah.
Because then after that it's just the kids. Martin gets hurt.
Yeah, because they're up in a house and there's like an explosion.
Yeah, so Martin gets hurt and Charles stays with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then Joe and Carrie run to the cemetery because earlier in the movie, Joe leaves his house to go be with his mom, at the cemetery. And he sees like rustling in this like garage thing. So he's like, the alien's in there. Like, I know it, So like him and Carrie are like running through town and stuff like that. And Joe keeps saying like, follow me. And Carrie is just like, I've been following you for like 9 blocks. Like, where the fuck are we going?
Yeah, so they like break into this like, I don't know what it is, like a shack.
I assume it'd be like I don't know what that person's called, the grave tender. I guess like his like garage where he keeps tools.
Yeah, there's this like giant pit down there. So he's like, Carrie, do you have a sparkler?
And he dumps his bag full of like all these like fireworks.
Do I have a sparkler? Are you fucking kidding me?
Like child's play. I thought he was gonna say no.
Yeah,
because he's like, no, I like carry like explosives.
So they go down into this pit on a secret mission, and they see all these people hanging up, right?
Yeah.
And that's like the alien's lair, where he's building a spaceship, and all these people are kind of tied up, almost like spider webs.
Yeah, it doesn't really show us how they get tied up, unless there's a deleted scene.
No, I don't think so. And we see the aliens eating the people too.
Yeah, which like I didn't think he was, honestly. But I guess it does make kind of sense.
Yeah, because he just kind of grabs someone and like starts munching on them.
Yeah, like there's like a severed leg in his arm.
Yeah, so then they see Alice and
the sheriff and that lady with the rollers.
Lady with the rollers, and I think someone else.
Yeah, but I don't know if they get them.
So they make a plan. Carrie's gonna make a distraction with all his fireworks while
Joe
Joe
saves Alice.
saves Alice. So that plan works out. Joe saves Alice, and then while they're about to leave, they see everyone else hanging up, so they're like, fuck, I guess we gotta save everyone.
Gotta be a good person.
So they save the sheriff, they save the lady with the rollers, and the lady with the rollers is like, I don't know what was happening last thing. I knew I was doing this, and she's just like babbling.
And they're not even paying attention to her.
No, so the sheriff's like, follow me out this way. And Joe's like, wait, we came in this way, actually? He's like, kid.
Yeah, no, it was definitely one of those, like, no, the adults are speaking.
Yeah. So they go out the other way, and then that's where the alien shows up and takes the sheriff, takes the lady with the rollers.
Presumably dead. Because, like, when he grabs the lady with the rollers, at least, he, like, throws her behind him. So she's dead, I think.
Oh, yeah, she's dead. And it's just the three kids, Alice, Joe, and Carrie. And Joe tries to talk to the alien. Yeah. He's like, hold up. I know what you're doing is fucked up, but we're not all terrible humans. It's like, trust me.
And he, like, grabs him. And then, like, there was no, like... At first, I was like, oh, shit. Maybe Joe can't understand him, you know? But then, like, I guess, like, he gets through to the alien. Because then the alien opens up his human eyes. Yeah. Which looked so weird.
So, I was reading, and apparently, it's supposed to look like his mom's eyes. Oh, which is, like, even weirder, because it's, like, this weird connection they have. And he's like, yeah, my mom's eyes.
Oh, my God. That would have been so strange.
Yeah. But the alien doesn't say anything. So the kids get out of there, and the alien just starts to build a ship.
Yeah, so, like, essentially, like, makes, like, the water tower becomes, like, magnetized, and all this shit, like, just starts flying to it. It's weird, because it's, like, selective items, too. It's not just every car, just one car, one gun, you know?
Like... Yeah, that was weird, because all the appliances bust out of the window, and then there's, like, this soldier holding onto this gun for dear life, but the gun gets taken. But then we see shots of other people holding their guns, and those aren't getting taken. So
like, so maybe it's like a radius thing. I don't know.
And then, but Joe's locket is like one of the last things that gets magnetized and it's getting taken away. And he's holding on to it. And the locket finally opens up, and we see it's a picture of him as a baby with the mom.
Yeah. Yeah, this is right when, like, the dads get there. Mm-hmm. And then, like, Joe's dad's, like, basically, like, he hugs him and basically tells him, like, I'm sorry kind of thing.
I've been a dick.
And then Alice's dad does, like, kind of like a similar thing.
And then Carrie's by himself.
And Carrie doesn't have parents, apparently.
He's an orphan.
Fuck. Poor Carrie, man.
But the locket goes into the water tower. Water tower basically implodes on itself and turns into a spaceship.
Which was a very interesting thing. I don't think they had to destroy the water tower, but no, they did anyway.
Yeah, and then E.T. goes home.
Yep.
I think that's it, right? That's like the end of the movie.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because Joe's dad hugs Joe. Yeah. And his back is facing the water tower. Mm-hmm. So his dad doesn't even see the alien. Yeah. At all in this entire movie. And it's just like, damn it. Well, obviously he's gonna have to believe him, but for how long?
Well, he sees the spaceship.
Yeah. Yeah, he does see the spaceship.
And then in the after credits, we see the case. They're like short film.
Yeah, they finished the movie.
Mm-hmm. Which was very cute.
Yeah, I really like that little, like, addition of them finishing the movie. Mm-hmm. I think it definitely adds. And then, like, I think at the end, Charles is like, oh, like, hopefully you pick me for, like, the movie and stuff like that. And I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah. He was sitting in, like, a leather chair with, like, a book. Yeah. Like a pipe.
So that was Super 8. We'll take a quick break and then get back to some trivia and then our final thoughts on the movie. All right, and welcome back to the trivia part of the show. All right, Nick. So throughout the episode, I've been kind of sprinkling in some trivia here and there, but these are some other ones that I just they didn't find a way to introduce it. So here's something I found out while I was doing some research on the movie, which is when J.J. Abrams and his friend Matt Reeves were teenagers, they were hired by Steven Spielberg to restore some of his Super 8 home movies.
Oh, shit.
So that's like when they first met Steven Spielberg.
Okay. So I'm assuming he was already a director at this time. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Damn, that must have been like fucking crazy.
Yeah, right?
To be like young and like to meet this like famous director.
Yeah.
Or at least like anybody who's like made a movie that came into theaters. Probably for a kid is like, oh, my idol. Especially if you want to be a director or a writer.
Yeah, because I guess everyone who worked on the movie or like helped make it had history with like Super 8 films. Like I think J.J. Abrams made Super 8 films as a kid.
Yeah.
So they like had this connection to this like type of media. So you know how like all the kids were riding these bikes?
Okay.
Bad Robot, which is J.J. Abrams' studio, they like tried really hard to capture the essence of the 70s. So they rented these bikes out. And during like production, one of the kids mentioned, he was like, oh man, it'd be really cool to keep these bikes. So Abrams was like, all right. And he ended up just buying the bikes for the kids. And he let all the kids keep their bike.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I do remember like growing up and like there was like one of our friends that like didn't have a bike.
Mm-hmm.
And it really was like always like so depressing, like when you wanted to go ride a bike but like you couldn't because like your friend didn't have a bike.
Yeah.
And then when that friend finally gets a bike for Christmas, you're like, let's go.
You stand on the pegs.
Yeah, because like all my bikes were like hand-me-downs.
Yeah. Oh,
so,
same.
So like I never experienced like a new bike. I've always like had bikes that were like over like 10 years old.
Yeah, I didn't ride a bike until I was like way older.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't have a bike as a kid. So I think the first time I rode a bike, I was already in middle school.
Oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I had a bikes in preschool. Like I started really young.
Here's another interesting fact. So you know how in the credits they're showing like that film they made, the kids?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently they had to shoot that in 16 millimeter so they could get so the VFX team had enough resolution to work with, and then they downgraded that to 8 millimeter.
Oh, okay.
So that's how they got that look. So it wasn't originally shot on 8 millimeter.
Gotcha. I assume shooting on 8 millimeter to put into a movie nowadays is pretty tough.
Yeah. So one of the facts I thought was like the most interesting was the code name for the military's cover-up, which is Operation Walking Distance. It's a reference to a Twilight Zone episode that was called The Walking Distance, where a dissatisfied man returns to his hometown and finds himself as a young boy, essentially reliving his childhood and as a happier way of life. And J.J. Abrams revisits his childhood with this film, echoing one of his favorite episodes.
Oh. Damn, that's interesting.
Very obscure reference that only he would know.
Yeah, I know. It is definitely like, yeah, it's like this is just made like because he's like, oh, this one time I was watching this, my favorite episode of this.
And so like the alien in the movie doesn't have an official name.
Oh, okay.
But his nickname on set was Cooper.
Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Which is kind of cool because I don't know if you knew this about Jaws, but like the shark in Jaws, his name is Bruce.
Bruce. Okay.
That's like his cute nickname.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I know when we were watching the movie, we were like saying how the monster looked very Cloverfield-esque.
Yeah.
Because the guy who helped make that monster worked on Cloverfield.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then like I think the fans of Cloverfield call that monster like Clovey or
Clover.
something. Yeah, Clover.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's like a ton more like behind the scenes and stuff on this movie that if anyone's ever interested in, I definitely recommend checking that out because it seems like a lot of work was put into making this movie and how it turned out because like you were saying, even though this movie is over 10 years old, it looks amazing. It looks like it was just made like a couple of years ago.
Yeah, no, yeah. There's no part of this movie where I go, ew, the CGI looks awful.
Yeah.
Because they don't really like even when they're like with the monster, the alien. Sorry, don't want to be alien phobic. But when it's like face to face with Joe, it doesn't look bad.
No.
You know, though, just the eye part where like it gets like those human eyes, like that was a little, to me that looked a bit little odd.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it definitely holds up for being over 10 years old.
I think that worked also because they didn't really show the monster until like the end.
Yeah.
They like show its shadow and like it moving, but they don't like fully show it. And shit. Yeah. And then also like the special effects. They kind of do a good job at hiding it by like showing it in like really dark areas or like with shaky cam, so you can't really tell.
Yeah, I think we only see the monster in nighttime.
Yeah.
So that really works good for it. Because every time I see like visual effects that are like hardcore in daytime scenes, they are rough. Like even nowadays, like I feel like daytime is just like super hard to get right, I guess, or like it's just like hard to make it look like it belongs.
Yeah. Man, when I was trying to think of like a final like thoughts or like a rating for this movie, it was personally really hard for me not to compare this to Stranger Things or any of the other shows or movies that have come out since.
Yeah, I know this. I think you put it perfectly before. You're like, this movie walked so other movies can run.
Yeah.
But personally, I like the kids dynamic in this movie way more than Stranger Things.
Oh, really?
If we ever like do TV shows, Stranger Things, I love it, but I do not like some of the chemistry of those kids.
Yeah.
And in this movie, Joe, Charles, and Allie had great chemistry with each other interacting. And Carrie being the side character was cool. The other two were pretty much non-existent.
Yeah.
But they all served their like role and stuff. But some of like the Stranger Things cast members, I felt like they were just like didn't belong, or they didn't like, I don't know, jive well with me. Maybe that's just like maybe like a writing thing.
Maybe. Yeah, because Stranger Things, like, I think they has good writing, but I think this just has Super 8 has the benefit of having J.J. Abrams and like Steven Spielberg on board to just boost this to something that I don't think Stranger Things will ever accomplish.
Yeah, because maybe it's just like the weird paranormal thing with like that with 11. I really care for it at all in season 1.
Yeah,
but I liked everyone else.
Yeah,
I think the parents in Stranger Things are way better than the parent, like, you know, even like the shitty parents.
Yeah,
but yeah, I like the kids dynamic in Super 8 a lot.
I love the kids dynamic. And one thing that we noticed yesterday was I love how Charles, during later parts of the movie, he has that yellow raincoat on.
Yeah.
Which is like a Goonies like reference.
Yeah, and I think when we're talking about like the raincoat, it's like the movie is like it's dark, but it's not in a way where like it mutes colors.
Yeah.
Like they're still bright, and all the kids, like, they don't like get lost in the background even when they're going to like the evacuation center and stuff. Even if they're not center on screen, they did a good job of still making them like, oh, that's the main character, you know, without giving them outrageous hair or like a sign that says like main character right over here.
Yeah, like, yeah, all the color was like super vibrant and it just looked really good.
It's so good.
It's such a pretty movie.
I know, I can't get over that. Because like usually like when a movie's like aged, like you could tell. At least a little bit, you know. There's movies from like 2016 to now that I go, oh yeah, that's a little bit older. And then I find out it's like 2016. I'm like, oh yikes.
2011.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, no, but other movies.
Oh yeah, other movies.
But like this movie feels like it was made like in the most recent, like maybe if not this year, maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's kind of wild just thinking back on the first time I watched this and like now rewatching it and still having the same feeling.
Yeah,
of like, this is just a magical fucking movie.
Yeah, I know. I feel like, I know it's funny. We had movies that like so far we didn't really like hate anything, but like this is a movie that like cements this is a good fucking movie.
Yeah, this is one of those movies that I'm glad to have in my collection, just because I don't know if like our Wi-Fi ever goes down or we have people over, we're trying to find a movie to watch. I have something that's available and ready. So I'm like, have you ever seen Super 8?
Yeah, especially if you like talk to like in like family and stuff like that, and people who like Stranger Things, they've probably never seen this movie, and it would fit right in their wheelhouse now.
Yeah, I am curious if like talking to family and friends, how many of them have seen this movie?
Yeah,
Just because of the popularity of Super 8 and other like movies like that.
I did talk to people at work. I was curious about this. Of like the people that are like movie buffs, I did ask them about if they've seen this movie. None of them.
Really?
Not a single one. And I was like, you actually should watch it. It's pretty good.
Have they heard of it?
No.
Damn. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, this movie did go like under the radar for a lot of people when it came out.
So, I have a tiny thing of trivia.
Okay. Yeah, go for it.
So, I found this earlier today. So, have you ever played Portal 2?
No, not the second one.
Okay, so it's a game made by Valve. And funny enough, it has like this like weird like interactive trailer for Super 8. Where it's like after the train crashes and like you could interact where you walk through the wreckage and then like you make it to like the end of like basically it's like a corridor of all the train wreckage and then at the end like the door flies off, like what we see Joe interact with, and then it kind of like you hear like a loud noise and like it cuts to black. It's like Super 8 coming out. And I was like, holy shit, because like that it came out before the movie did. And it was only available on this one specific game on PC only, and you need to go down to like a special mode or whatever. And it was so strange because I remember vaguely seeing it like years ago. And then I was thinking about it at work, and I came home and I was like, I gotta find out. And I was like, oh my god, this is it. So it had very strange little marketing.
Yeah, I think it had like it also had like a secret website that if you went to, you could get like little like pictures or like snippets of the universe of like Super 8.
Yeah, which I love shit like that. I love ARGs and stuff like that. And I feel like I like the Cloverfield ones a lot. Like leading like if we were to do 10 Cloverfield Lane, like that one had a really strong ARG presence and it linked up with other movies and shit. And I feel like more movies need to do that because it's like so fun. Like if you could create like such like a fun little thing before you watch a movie, you get so jazzed about it.
Yeah. See, I agree with you, but thinking about like this movie, I'm wondering, did that hurt this movie? Because it was like so secretive and like only if you know kind of thing.
Yeah, I feel like the ARG stuff is like for like super fans or people who are super interested.
Yeah.
And you should still have a good general marketing plan set in place. Like trailers, commercials, ad spots, you know. Especially if your budget's $50 fucking million. Like
Now, man, now I'm curious. I want to ask like our friends if they've seen Super 8 or not.
Yeah. I'm going to guess that the number is low.
Yeah.
That the more people you ask, like, you're going to get shocked.
Yeah. And we saw this with someone who I think they're just doing a bit at this point. Because they said after rewatching this, they're like, yeah, I've never seen that movie before. And I'm like, fucking liar, man.
We've seen this movie.
We've seen this, I swear. So I think we've already kind of established that we both like this movie.
It was really good.
Yeah. I love this movie a lot.
And it deserves to stay in the collection. And do you already have it on Blu-ray?
I do.
So, like, if you could upgrade it later on with another...
I'll get a steelbook of it.
Yeah. Get a tattoo.
I love this movie, and I hope we, like, rediscover more movies like this.
Yeah.
Because, honestly, I don't think about this movie that much.
No. Like, is this movie, like... good enough to rewatch the next day?
Yeah, I would rewatch it the next day.
I think I wouldn't watch it the next day, just because like movies like that for me that I could watch like the next day are movies that like I could quote. And like
okay.
but like I would not mind watching this movie in like a couple weeks to like a couple months. Like I don't think I would turn this movie down if I had a little bit of time in between, which like I would say for most movies.
Yeah, if I talk to someone about this movie in the next few days and they're like, yeah, I've never seen it, I'm like, shut up. Come over. We're going to watch this movie now.
We're watching it right now.
Cool. So we both enjoy this movie. It seems like the general public enjoy it as well if they've actually heard of it. So let's find out what we're going to watch for next week's episode.
What do we got?
We got a mixture this week. I put all these movies in a randomizer and that's what came out, right? So we got Demolition Man. I know you've seen that one.
I have not.
Ooh, that one's good. We got John Wick.
Ooh.
They Live.
Okay.
Inception. Upgrade. And just to give it another chance, we got Scooby-Doo Back on the Wheel.
Let's go!
All right, and let's give this bad boy a spin and see what happens. It's Upgrade. Fuck!
Scooby-Doo will come. It'll be clutch moment.
I'll put it back on the wheel next week. Have you ever seen Upgrade?
Is that like I don't think so, but is that the first person movie?
No.
Then I don't think so.
Have you seen Invisible Man?
Invisible, the like the new one?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I think it's from the same director.
Okay.
Yeah, Upgrade's kind of it's like a weird sci-fi. Like not a lot of people have heard about this movie.
Oh, cool. Another like Super 8.
Yeah, I really like it. It was one of those movies where it was a blind buy.
Okay.
And I just saw it on the shelf and I was like, all right, I'll watch it. And I'm really glad I did because I really enjoy this movie.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. So if you haven't seen Upgrade, check it out. Do some research. Watch a trailer.
Come up with some trivia.
Yeah. Come up with some trivia that we haven't heard. And watch it with us next week. If you haven't yet, please rate and review us wherever you listen to your podcasts. I think we're on pretty much anything, or even on YouTube.
Yep.
Anything you want to say, Nick?
If you guys have any movie suggestions to throw on the wheel, maybe something that Ish doesn't have in his collection that we could look into getting, I would totally do suggestions over a randomizer wheel.
Oh, yeah. I love suggestions. Yeah, if you have any suggestions, definitely give them to us, and we'll prioritize that over the wheel anytime.
Yep, and I think we're pretty much adjusted to watch anything now,
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't... I think the one thing we haven't watched yet is like a horror movie.
Horror or like an animated movie right now.
We saw Batman Year One.
Oh, yeah, fuck, I forgot.
All right. Well, hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace out.
Bye.